This proves there is an agenda against the Indiana Fever. There is an attack agenda.
Brand new footage just hit the internet, and it's blowing up faster than a half-court buzzer beater.
Tina Pow, she hacked Caitlin Clark. Her arm is like being grabbed by Tina Pow, and she does take it off.
And then when the refs don't call the bear hug,
one of the worst missed calls I think I've ever seen in basketball.
This is another year and another case of WNBA referees not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
This is crystal clear, slow-motion proof that Caitlin Clark was absolutely targeted by the Atlanta Dream, and not in a let's play tough defense kind of way. No, this was more like, let's see how far we can push the rules before someone notices. And guess what? The refs didn't just miss it, they practically co-signed it. Let us know what you think of the refs down in the comments below. Let's go.
Let's watch the play here.
To reset things.
As you can see, she dribbles over to the wing, pushes off a little bit, and hits that three. Now, if you slow things down and if you actually go frame by frame, you can see that Pow had two hands on Caitlin. It wasn't just a one-hand hand check. She was kind of grabbing her with two hands.
In a sequence that looked more like wrestling than a basketball play, Clark was held, hugged, and full-on body checked. We're talking jersey grabs, hip locks, the whole nine. It wasn't just one aggressive move. It was a highlight reel of cheap shots. And while all that was happening, what did the officials do? Took a vacation. Right there on the court. Whistles tucked away, eyes on the ceiling. You couldn't script it worse if you tried.
This is some of the worst refereeing I've ever seen to not call a defensive foul here. Like, this is not just a hand check. This is a double jersey grab.
WNBA referees that is making it so damn hard for them to make the right calls at the right moment.
But here's the part that really throws the logic out the window. The internet is blaming Caitlin. Yep. Instead of rallying behind a player getting treated like a tackling dummy, the online trolls showed up like it was their Super Bowl. She pushed off, they say. She initiated it. Really? This is grabbing someone's jersey with both hands as Caitlin defending was absolutely someone needs to rewrite the entire basketball rule and not.
She's going up against Pow and she does a step back three. She hits it, but the internet is going wild for this because they are complaining about her pushing off with her left arm.
Let's break down the scene that's now burned into every fan's brain. Caitlin Clark, who moves like a guided missile when she decides to attack the rim, was going head-to-head with Tina Pow. But this wasn't defense. It was a one-woman demolition job. Pow wasn't in a stance. She reached out like Clark had taken the last cookie. She grabbed Clark's jersey with both hands, almost like she was trying to block a train with a beach towel.
Pow is on her. Pow grabs her hip. You see here. So Caitlin's trying to blow by Tina Pow. Like, Tina Pow is not a good enough defender to play flat like this. Two hands on Caitlin Clark's jersey. Then she goes around the hip. Caitlin shoots from so far back. Oh my God.
And just when you think, okay, foul incoming, nothing. Not a peep from the officials. But wait, it gets better. Clark, trying to get free, extends her arm slightly. A standard move for any guard under heavy pressure, especially when the defender is already off balance. Not a shove, not an elbow, just a natural separation. But somehow, that's what everyone decided to focus on. Not the double-handed hold. Not the blatant body bump, just that minor arm movement. And suddenly, she's the villain of the clip.
It's not an offensive foul, and if it's an offensive foul, the offensive foul comes way after the defensive foul. Even if it wasn't for the hand, I don't think that that's enough of a push-off to call an offensive foul, especially when the defensive player is off balance.
Watch it again in slow motion. Clark was already clear of the defender before the contact even happened. She had the angle, the speed, and the momentum. But thanks to the Dream's wrestling tactics, she never got the foul she earned. And instead of sympathy, she got slandered.
This happens a lot. There's a lot of times that guards are working the defenders off of them, especially if a defender has a hand on their side, on their jersey, on their arm, anything. You are allowed to kind of swipe and get the defenders off of you.
It's wild. Let's talk about the hypocrisy. Last season, the narrative was, Caitlin needs to toughen up. Every time she got knocked down, the response was a shrug and welcome to the W. Remember when Gino said this?
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
But now that she's learned to use her body to fight through the hits, the criticism has flipped. Now it's, she's too physical. Which is it? You can't say she's too weak for the league one year, and how dare she push back the next? She never got the foul she earned, and instead of sympathy, she got slandered. This isn't about one play or one player. This isn't about one play or one player. It's a recurring theme. Clark isn't getting superstar calls, she's getting singled out. And the scary part is it's being normalized. Every time the refs swallow their whistles, it sends a message. It's okay to play rough with her, just don't let her score. Remember when Alyssa Thomas did this and it wasn't even called a flagrant foul?
Another look here at the heavy contact.
Meanwhile, Clark keeps playing through it all. No complaints, no tantrums, just buckets. She's getting hacked and hammered and still dropping dimes like it's a free clinic. If you ask me, that's not just skill, it's toughness at the highest level.
Caitlin is past Tahina Paupo here. Tahina Paupo is stopping her with her arms. Her arms like this on the jersey, stopping her. There is an arm extension. Because she's in such bad defensive position, is already, look at her where her feet is before the contact. She's throwing herself out of the play anyway.
The worst part? This whole conversation should have been about protecting the league's biggest rising star. Instead, the conversation has been hijacked by armchair referees and salty Twitter fingers. Pau was clearly outmatched and resorted to grabbing and pulling. But somehow, Clark is the one under fire. It's madness.
Caitlin Clark, her arm is like being grabbed by Tahina Paupo and she does take it off.
She's trying to gain separation to shoot a three.
But I've never, like, this is some of the worst refereeing I've ever seen to not call a defensive foul here. This is a vet move by Paupo. I have to say, this is a vet move by Paupo.
And let's be real. The league needs Caitlin Clark. She's not just a player, she's an engine, pulling in fans, raising ratings, selling jerseys. The least they can do is protect her like every other star before her. Because if this continues, the message is loud and clear. You're only allowed to shine if you do it quietly.
Y'all got it. And that's exactly how I'm feeling right now, bro. Like, at this point, watch this play, guys. No call whatsoever. No call whatsoever. But they will call Caitlin Clark getting a technical. They will call Caitlin Clark getting a technical foul.
So if you believe in fairness, in consistency, and in not letting double standards slide, it's time to speak up. Caitlin Clark doesn't need favoritism. She needs the game to be called the way it's meant to be, fairly.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
Caitlin has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year. She shot a bunch of it, and it's been the whole preseason where it looks to me like on her deepest shots, she is just getting them off like they're nothing, like they're routine.
Let's call it what it is. Blatant double standards on full display. When other players throw their weight around, tossing elbows, pulling jerseys, applying pressure, they're praised for their toughness. They're lauded as gritty, as tenacious defenders doing what it takes to win. But the moment Caitlin Clark uses a shoulder to create space or extends an arm just enough to escape a defender's grasp, suddenly it's a controversy. Suddenly the rulebook comes out. But this isn't about maintaining the integrity of the game. This is about controlling the narrative. Caitlin is now the WNBA's biggest draw, its headline act. She fills seats, boosts ratings, and drives the conversation. And when you're that visible, you're bound to become a target, not just for defenders on the court, but for critics everywhere.
Because nobody else is shooting from this distance regularly, and she's doing it with a look at her wrist. How easily it looks like she's shooting those threes and hitting those threes in the clip that she's doing it. You know, going to the rack, all these various things that show she's even stronger than she was a year ago. And you see it in the strong numbers. I mean, 13 points, 6 boards, 7 assists in 23 minutes of action.
Let's be honest. If this same sequence had happened to someone like Sabrina Ionescu or Kelsey Plum, The chatter would be about how the refs blew an obvious foul,